Hey everyone, so this isn't going to be one of those fancy videos where some guy in a suit tells you what to do with your money. No spreadsheets, no complicated terms, no promises of getting rich quick. This is just me, a regular person, telling you how I shaved 15 years off my mortgage. Yeah, 15, and no, I didn't win the lottery. I didn't suddenly get a huge raise or invent an app. I just made a few small, smart changes. And you can totally do it too. So grab a coffee, or whatever you like to sip when you're about to hear some good real-life advice, and let me tell you how it all happened. The dream and the trap. A few years ago, I did what many of us dream about. I bought my first house. It wasn't huge. No white picket fence, no fancy upgrades, no granite countertops with under-cabinet lighting, but it was mine, a small, cozy place in a decent neighborhood where I could finally stop renting and start building something of my own. The day I got the keys, I remember just standing in the empty living room, staring at the walls like they were made of gold. I even did that thing where you lay on the floor and spread your arms out like you're in a movie. This is it, I thought. I made it. But about a month later, reality knocked. Loudly. I was sitting at the kitchen table looking at the mortgage agreement, and one number kept flashing in my brain like a warning sign. 20 years. That's 360 payments, 12 months a year. Every year. For 3 decades. It hit me like a cold splash of water. I had just signed up to pay the bank a chunk of my paycheck for half my adult life. Suddenly that dream home felt a little more like a very pretty prison. At first I brushed it off. Everyone gets a 30-year mortgage, right? That's just the way it's done. I was doing what grown-ups do. But then I got curious, and when I did the math, well, that was my wake-up call. The wake-up call. So here's something they don't really explain when you're sitting in that office, smiling and signing 400 pages of mortgage documents when you borrow $150,000 for a house at 6% interest over 30 years. You're not just paying back $150,000, you're paying back more like $300,000. Yes, really. Double. Maybe even more, depending on the terms. I found this out the hard way. One Saturday morning, coffee in hand, I pulled up my loan summary just to see how much I had chipped away at my debt after a full year of payments. I was feeling kind of proud. I had never missed a payment, always paid on time. I figured I'd at least made a dent. Wrong. Out of all those payments I had made, nearly $15,000 total, barely a sliver had touched the actual loan. Almost every dollar had gone straight to interest. I stared at the screen, blinked, refreshed the page. Nope, still true. I had been paying on a $150,000 loan for a year and still owed about $148,800. I think I almost choked on my cereal. It felt like I was just renting from the bank. And the rent was sky high. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't just paying for a house. I was paying twice for a house. Once for the cost of it, and again for the privilege of paying it off slowly. And honestly, that pissed me off a little. I worked hard for my money. I wasn't about to spend the next 29 years throwing most of it into a financial black hole. That day, I made a decision. I was going to beat the system. I didn't know how yet, but I knew one thing. I couldn't keep doing it the normal way. The normal way was broken, so I started looking for another way. The light bulb moment one night, after another round of pacing in my kitchen and muttering things like, How the heck am I going to pay this off before I'm old and gray? I stumbled across something online. A word. Amortization. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like one of those complicated finance guy terms they throw around on Wall Street while drinking $9 coffee and wearing suspenders. But hang on, don't zone out, because this word changed everything for me. Amortization in simple human language just means this. You send extra money to your mortgage, and instead of it getting gobbled up by interest, it goes straight to the actual loan, the principal, the real deal. Let me break it down. Every month when you make your regular mortgage payment, the bank plays a little trick. Okay, not a trick, but it feels like one. They take a big old bite of your money, and that bite goes to interest. You know, their profit. Only a little bite, like a toddler-sized nibble, goes toward the actual amount you borrowed. It's like making a sandwich, but every time you take a bite, someone else eats most of it, and you're left with a crust. But when you make an extra payment specifically for amortization, something amazing happens. Every single penny goes straight to what you owe. No interest taken, no fees, no tricks. It's like skipping the long line at the amusement park and heading straight to the ride. I remember the moment it clicked. I sat there staring at my screen thinking, wait. You're telling me I can just pay a little extra every month? And it actually does something. It knocks down the debt for real. Why the heck hasn't anyone told me this before? I mean, I'd heard of people paying off their mortgage early, but it always sounded like something rich people did. Something that came after a big promotion or an inheritance. But here I was, and regular me wearing sweatpants, eating cereal at 10 p.m., discovering that I could do it too. All it took was a little strategy, a little extra cash here and there, and most importantly, consistency. I didn't need a six-figure income. I didn't need a second job or a side hustle selling candles. I just needed to stop throwing my money at interest and start aiming it at the heart of the problem, the principle, and from that moment forward, my mindset changed. This wasn't about surviving the mortgage anymore. It was about beating it. The first extra payment, I decided to test it. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. This was new territory for me. But one month I got a little surprise from work, a $500 bonus. Now, let's be real. That money could have easily disappeared. New phone? Tempting. A weekend road trip with way too many snacks. Been there, upgrading my TV just to watch the same Netflix shows. Yep, that too. But this time, something stopped me. That little light bulb from the night I learned about amortization. It was still glowing, so I thought, let's try it just once, let's see what happens. I made a promise to myself. If this works, if it actually makes a difference, I'm all in. So I sat down, opened my laptop, logged into my mortgage portal. After 20 minutes of password resets, two-factor codes, and mild identity, crises, you know how it goes. Finally, I found the button, Make Additional Payment. It gave me two options. Apply to future monthly payments, apply to principal only. And you already know which one I chose. Principal only. The magic button. I hit submit. The screen spun for a second, and just like that, boom. It was. Done, no fireworks, no applause, not even a well-done banner, just a new number on my balance. But then came the real moment. The next month I checked my loan dashboard. I stared at it, blinked, refreshed the page twice. That $500 payment just lower my balance a little bit. It knocked off nearly 3 months of future payments. 3 whole months. Gone just like that. That was the moment everything changed, because that's when I realized this wasn't just a tip. It was a cheat code, not some secret hack only rich. Folks knew, not a risky move or shady trick, just a smarter, quieter, more powerful way to say, hey, I'm taking back control. That $500 could have bought me a gadget I'd forget in a year. Instead, it bought me time, peace, freedom. It bought me progress, and that felt better than any shopping spree ever could. From that moment on, I was hooked. I started looking at money differently. Every little extra I got, birthday gifts, tax returns, selling old stuff on Facebook Marketplace, became another chance to punch my mortgage in the face. And every time I made an extra payment, I could hear a little voice in my head saying, one step closer. I sold my car, and no, I'm not crazy. A few months after that first extra payment, I felt something shift inside me. I couldn't unsee it anymore. How just a little extra cash could buy me years of freedom. I was obsessed, in the best way possible. I started looking around my life, asking a simple question. What else am I holding on to that's holding me back? And then my eyes landed on my car. Now, it wasn't a sports car or anything flashy, but it was nice, sleek, reliable. Leather seats, Bluetooth, the works. It made me feel a little fancy pulling into the driveway. It was worth around $20,000, and I still owed a bit on it, but I had equity. So I asked myself something that made me a little uncomfortable. Do I really need this car? Or do I want freedom faster? That question haunted me for a week. I mean, I liked the car. It was comfy. It had seat warmers. But then I looked at my mortgage balance. I thought about the 3 decades I had signed up for. I thought about what I could do if I shaved even more time off. And that's when I did it. I listed the car for sale, found a buyer, sold it, bought a solid used car. Nothing fancy, no bells and whistles, but it ran like a champ. For half the price. I took the leftover $10,000 and slammed it straight into the mortgage. Principal only. No hesitation, no detour to Target. No, maybe I'll just keep $2,000 to upgrade the TV. Nope, all in. And when the new balance showed up on my account, I could hardly believe it. That one move knocked off 5 whole years. 5 years of payments and gone. 60 monthly bills I'd never have to worry about. 60 fewer times I'd have to check the due date and sigh. That was the day I realized something even bigger. I didn't need to be rich, I just needed to stop acting like I was. I'd spent so much of my life chasing that looking good lifestyle. The nice car, the gadgets, the stuff. But none of it felt as good as watching my debt shrink. None of it gave me the kind of peace I felt knowing I was winning the quiet game, the long game. And you know what? That used car with the squeaky door and a radio that only works on certain stations? It became one of my favorite things in the world, because every time I drove it, I knew I'd traded comfort now for freedom later. And honestly, freedom feels better than leather seats ever did. What I do every month. Now, after that big car move, I didn't stop. I made myself a promise, simple, no exceptions. Every single extra dollar I get goes into the mortgage. Got $200 left over at the end of the month because I skipped takeout and made spaghetti at home. Mortgage. Unexpected $50 birthday card from grandma. Mortgage. Sorry, Grandma, I love you, but I love freedom more. Tax refund from Uncle Sam, straight into the loan. Sold some old furniture. Facebook Marketplace treasure hunt. Mortgage, baby. Didn't care where the money came from. If it wasn't already earmarked for something critical, it went straight to the principal. And here's the part that blew my mind. Even just $100 extra each month, one less dinner out, one fewer just browsing Target trip, can save you tens of thousands of dollars in interest. Seriously, that's not an exaggeration. That's math. It can knock 10 to 15 years off your mortgage if you stay consistent. Let me paint the picture. Imagine finishing your mortgage at age 50 instead of 65, or at 45 instead of 60. Imagine no more monthly payments, no more bank letters, no more mortgage due notifications blinking on your phone. Imagine owning your home for real. Not technically the bank's, but 100% yours. That vision? That kept me going. I started looking at money differently. Suddenly, a $100 bill wasn't just nice to have. It was a tiny shovel, digging me out of a 30-year hole, one scoop at a time. The truth is, most people think you need to make huge moves to get ahead. Giant paychecks, six-figure windfalls, fancy investment strategies. But what I learned is, consistency beats intensity. Small, steady actions. Month after month, it's not sexy. It doesn't go viral, but it works. And every time I log in to check my mortgage balance and see it dropping faster than it ever should have, I feel like I'm cheating the system. Except, I'm not. I'm just finally playing it smarter than the bank hoped I would. Better than any investment I could have made. Let's talk about something a lot of money people might not want to admit. There's always that friend or co-worker who says, "Why pay down a low-interest mortgage when you could invest that money and make more in the market?" And hey, maybe that works for them. But let me tell you what really happened when I ran the numbers for my life. I sat down one night with a calculator, a strong cup of coffee, and the kind of curiosity that makes you slightly dangerous on a spreadsheet. I looked at what I was actually paying in interest over 30 years. It was over $200,000. On a loan of $150,000, let that sink in. I wasn't just borrowing money, I was renting it for the price of a luxury car. Or two, so I thought, sure, I could invest that extra $200 a month. Maybe I'd get a 7% return, or maybe the market crashes, or I panic and pull out too early. But here's what I do know. Every single extra dollar I threw at my mortgage gave me an instant guaranteed return. In the form of interest I no longer had to pay. I didn't have to wait 10 years. I didn't have to worry about stock tickers or market volatility or crypto winters. I saw the benefit right away. Lower balance, fewer payments, less stress. And honestly, that peace of mind, that freedom, that's priceless. Sure, it might not be flashy. No one claps for you when you skip brunch to throw $100 at the bank. There's no champagne toast when you cancel cable and pay down your house instead. But little by little, I was building wealth the quiet way. Not the loud, look at my portfolio kind of wealth, but the solid, grounded, I sleep better at night kind of wealth. And here's the part they don't teach you in school. Paying off your mortgage early isn't just about saving money, it's about owning your time again. Because once you don't owe the bank anymore, you suddenly have options. You can take a lower stress job, start your own business, travel, help your family. Sleep in. Whatever freedom looks like to you, An early mortgage payoff gets you there faster. So yeah, I could have thrown my money into stocks or index funds or some shiny new investing app, but instead, I bet on my freedom and I'm winning. But what about investing? Some people say, why not invest that extra money instead? Sure, I thought about it, but here's my take. Paying off a mortgage early gives you a guaranteed return equal to your interest rate. If your rate is 6%, it's like getting a 6% return, the risk-free. Can you guarantee that in the stock market? Nope. So before you invest in stocks, crypto, or the next hot thing, ask yourself, are you okay giving $200,000 to the bank in interest? I wasn't. Final thoughts from someone just like you. Look, I'm not here to preach. I'm just telling you what worked for me. I'm not a financial guru. I'm just a guy who got tired of being in debt, and honestly, paying off my mortgage faster feels amazing. It's like I got a raise without changing jobs. Peace of mind, priceless. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to decide. Start with $50. Start with $10. Start with what you can, and watch what happens. Thanks for listening. If this helped you even a little, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share it with a friend who's drowning in mortgage debt. We're in this together. Let's beat the system. 1. Payment at a time. Peace, love, and principle-only payments.